Welcome back, my artist friends. This week I wanted to talk about how I use Midjourney in a professional pipeline, and in turn make money with it. I don't believe anyone is just going to pay us to write prompts and create pretty pictures. I don't think that's going to work. I think, this is why I'm always talking about the comparison of control versus collaboration, and when I work, why I'm always pushing for control from these AI art generators. And I thought if I just walk through how I create a piece for a client, that might help things out. All right, let's get into it. Oh, we're back at it. You've been working out. All right, so when I'm, the very first thing I have to do is when I am working on a project, the one I'm going to be talking about today is a social media post. It's a little bit bigger of a post than normal because it's not something that's just going to drift by. We're starting to tease a new cocktail for one of my clients, and I have to come up with a concept. And off the top of my head, the concept, we're starting to tease something. I think the auto industry does this really well. Usually they show cars that are under a blanket or under a silk blanket, and then they reveal it, they pull it back. That was the concept I wanted to go with for this product, this cocktail. So first I jumped into Midjourney to see if I could get lucky. And here are some renderings, and I'll put the prompt up, but basically the concept is a glass underneath a piece of linen on a table, rustic table, and let's just throw the prompt out there, see what Midjourney comes up with. These are the returns I was getting. Obviously, definitely not what I'm intended, but I went through a lot of renders, tweaking the prompt, and just was not getting what I wanted. This is a weird one. It's got some that water is like holy water. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of undertones. Anyway, I ran that prompt and did not get anything close to what I was imagining. And when you go through this, you kind of gotta there's doubt that comes into your mind, and you're like, oh, maybe the concept isn't right. Maybe I can't use AI because the concept isn't right and the AI doesn't understand it. And I don't buy that. I think we can get the looks we want. It just, it takes a little bit of work. And I don't think these are all the images I ran too. I just fired them off and just kept going, recycling, and just didn't get what I wanted. So, on to the next step. All right, so my next step, since Midjourney wasn't really getting it, and I wasn't, making progress really quick, I decided to hop into Dalle, and I use it within the ChatGPT. I am not a huge... I like Dalle. It's not a finished looking image to me. It's very illustrative. There's a vibe that comes with Midjourney that I just prefer over the Dalle renders. But Dalle does seem to understand prompting in a different way and in a little bit more in-depth way. So I hopped in there, and I'll put up the prompt. The other thing, I don't know. I don't want to cut on Dalle. It's just they also slow you down on how quickly you can use it, and you get errors and stuff like, oh, you're using it too fast. You got to slow down. So I pay for Dalle, and that's not. It's very hard when you're working for a client to be told by your software you're going too fast. That doesn't work for me. So there's a lot of reasons I don't go to Dalle right away, but I do use it as a tool, and that's how we should use all this stuff. Need a little coffee here. All right. So there we go. These are the renders I got out of Dalle. And as you see, it understands my prompt better, what I was looking for better. Obviously, I can't use this stuff, but it's getting the idea better than Midjourney was. And, that's on the language understanding. Look at that. I mean, now we're getting kind of to the concept. This is a tease, and I want it covered with linen, and, it's understanding it much better than what Midjourney was doing right out of the gate. So I like that. And these are all and then you get some weird stuff. And obviously Picos is the name of the my client. And I was trying to incorporate a Picos neon sign. I think I had a typo, and I started to get film reels in there. I must have put something in my prompt that was calling out film reels, because they started showing up all over the place. And at first I thought they were hubcaps. I was like, what is going on here? But that's kind of cool. And, you're getting the linen, you're getting the close-up, you're getting the rustic table. Then you get some weird stuff like that. And this obviously doesn't have the volume of a glass underneath it. That I don't know what that is. It's cool. Oh, okay. Very cool. Must be a massive napkin. Must be like 20 napkins. And then I finally landed on this one. But you can see how many iterations it took. But I was much more confident going through this than I was with Midjourney, because the results were just closer. You get that sense like, yeah, this is gonna give me something. Now again, I don't like the rendering that comes out of Dalle. It's not horrible. It's just I prefer the look of Midjourney. Midjourney's got a vibe to it. It's got, I don't know, there's some magic in there that I prefer. So this is the image I landed on, but we're not done. All right, so we've got our render from Dalle that kind of has the concept and everything that we we're looking for. So now I'm going to take that Dalle render and use that as a CREF character reference and a style reference, and pump it back into Midjourney with a prompt that is what we're looking for. It may be back to the original prompt, but basically, so now we know this is how I want it to act, Midjourney. I'm going to put it in for the style and for the character, and see if I can really force you to understand what I'm looking for. So here is the images that I rendered out of Midjourney using the style and character reference from Dalle. Oop. Let's make sure I'm clicking in the right place. I always do that. And here you go. Okay, that doesn't make any sense, but we're getting better renders. The look of it's better. Okay, we're getting the idea. This is kind of neat. Here we go. I'm not going to say Midjourney's learning, but it's it's gonna hit. Like, you can tell we're getting close to this. This is weird. It's wrapping the linen around the glass, or it's morphing to it. Oh, look at that. Now we're kind of getting what we want. This is and you got to really balance like how this would have taken in the old days. Like, I would have set up a whole photo shoot to do this. It would have taken a day to do the shoot, and then, a day to do the work on it. So we are getting better. I know it feels like there's a lot of experimentation here, but it definitely speeds up the process of getting imagery like this and concepts across that you can use in marketing. But here we go. Oh, now it's raining in there, and we're just getting some weird stuff, but I'm confident like it's going to hit. And just keep going and going. And, oh, that's interesting. It's got some steam coming out of it. I mean, it doesn't look like a glass, but I mean, I'm starting to think, I can make this work. We're going to keep moving forward. This missed the mark, but we're still going. We're getting this weird weird wrapped glasses. Oh, that's close. As you see, like, I'm getting the rim above. Oops, sorry about that touchscreen. You're getting this rim above the napkin, which isn't what you want, but it's fixable. That's the other thing, is we've got a lot of tools that we can fix all this stuff. So I'm kind of getting excited. I'm pretty psyched that we're hitting this stuff. And look at that. I mean, that definitely says that there's a glass being hidden underneath this linen. And we are very close. I keep rerunning the image. There's a wine glass. We get to a different one. And, wow, looking at that, I'm like, wow, I wish I had something to reveal that was in a wine glass, because that's a good render. And, we are getting super close, still going. As you see, you just keep rerunning this. And then, bam, I get this one. And this is the one I want. Now, yes, the rim is on the top. Oops, look at that. The rim, you can see on top of the linen, not what we want. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed in this, but we've got the linen draped over the right type of glass for this cocktail. The other thing is this right in here, like, it's revealing the bottom of the glass. That double emphasizes that there's a glass under here and that we're getting a peek at something new. So this was the banger that came out of sourcing our Dalle work into Midjourney. Very good. But there's still stuff that needs to be done. All right, and here is the next step. So at this point, look, there's parts of concepts as you work through this to see what works and what doesn't work. At this point, I'm still attached to the idea of having a neon sign in the back with my client's name on it. I need the coffee today, guys. I need it. So to do that, I start, and also I'm correcting the upper edge, remember, of the glass and linen. And to do this, I'm doing a regional vary within Midjourney to see what I can get. Because Midjourney does understand, supposedly, text now. So here we go, and we're starting to get stuff that's close. The perspective isn't right. It's coming out of it. It's weird. There's a window in the back, but we're getting the word. And I'm working through this. I don't know. I don't know what to. In the end, I didn't go with a neon sign. It wasn't the look I want. A couple birds in there too. That was weird. I don't know why. Is a pico a bird or something? But let's see. I think I moved forward with this guy right here. The edge wasn't done completely. Like, I wasn't getting the right edge either. But I was like, oh, okay. So that says picos in the back. Let's move forward. All right. Here's the next element that I wanted in this whole concept. And I used very region again. And, I wanted coffee beans at the bottom. There's coffee espresso in this cocktail. So, it's not an espresso martini either. So I used very region on the bottom, and, I like this technique because it really, you're sure that it's going to blend into the image. But as you see, when I was using Midjourney to do this, it just I wasn't happy with the scale of it, or, this one worked okay, but the beans felt a little big to me. Like, it was kind of, I ran a lot of renders, and I also didn't want it to be too obvious. Like, it's just like, it should be a subtle hint. It shouldn't be over the top, but that's how I was creating that element. I actually didn't go with the Midjourney coffee beans, but you'll see where we go from here. All right, this is where we start to pull things together. Here we are, we're inside of Photoshop, and we're going to use some of their AI to kind of start working this out and making sure we have a really professional looking image here. Again, remember, this is a special social media announcement. It's not it's not just a regular, like, hey, come visit us every day type of thing. This is like, this needs to be more impactful. And hey, go follow Pico's Taco Shack on Cape Cod. You can see a lot of my AI work on their brand. Don't talk about the AI on it. Just talk about the tacos. Okay, so let's go through the layers here, and I can kind of tell you how I worked with this image. And all right, here's my first layer on top of the original was to fix the glass lip that was coming through the top of the linen. So I used a generative fill, Mr. Fill, on that, and Adobe gave me a great, right out of the gate, a great top to it. Then my next was, okay, this is where I was like, that Pico's is kind of taking up a lot of space. The other thing is, when you look at an image, your eye automatically goes to the brightest part of the image. This is this is a concept in photography, is like whatever is the brightest is going to attract the initial view. And I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at these lights, and I'm like, that's going to pull attention from the glass. And this Pico's sign is going to pull attention. I don't want that. I want the attention on the glass. So I ran another Mr. Fill on that and got rid of those. The other thing is, now I have a nice tone in the back where I can overlay, those lights and the neon light and those can lights. I think that those aren't can lights, the ones hanging. Anyway, those lighting, I'm drawing a blank. Those hanging lights, since they're so contrasty from the background, it's going to be difficult space to put text over, because if it's a bright back there, you want to have dark lettering. If it's dark, you want bright. If you have high contrast, now you're complicating that overlay, and you have to deal with that. So I decided to take out that the back lights and the back neon sign, and this is all for thinking down the road on my text layout. Now I put in a gradient fill, and this is where it gets it's a gradient black to white that goes all the way down. It isn't intended to look like that because I went back and cut out the glass and overlaid that on top of it. What I was really doing was just darkening the background. And it's real simple now in Photoshop. You can use your selective subject, and Adobe nails it like 9 out of 10 times. So now I have a darker image behind it and the unadjusted glass in front of it, and I've created this darker, more moody background. And again, this is thinking ahead to I'm going to have what I'm planning for my text layer, because there does need to be copy on this. Now, okay, so I used Phil again, and he did Mr. Adobe Phil did a much better job at the correct scale for coffee beans on my table. So I, selected this area out here and just, I put spilled coffee beans. That's all I put in the prompt. And Mr. Phil figured that out. I did run that a couple times. I think if we look, oh no, I ran it 3 times and got it. All right. My life. So that is a much better spilled coffee bean look, and that's exactly what I wanted, and Midjourney wasn't giving me that, so pretty psyched with that. Another addition here is I put a tequila bottle in the back. As I was working through this, I realized, we're branding this new cocktail, but on social media, it's like this new thing that's coming. I didn't want to waste words, saying that it's not. I just wanted to give the concept that, hey, this is an adult drink. I wanted to give that feel to it. So this just kind of subtly, gives us that. So I put a tequila bottle in the back there, as you can see. I know I ran that a bunch of times. As you can see over here, geez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. So that's 30 versions that ran to get that tequila bottle. Now, it did give me this weird corner to the linen that I didn't like, but that linen corner needed to be cleaned up anyway. So to do that, I did some cloning in the back, and I cloned out the corner of the linen and, gave myself enough headroom. And, that doesn't look right. I know what you're thinking. But then I put the original cup over it again, and it gave us a nice bend, nice natural curve to that linen. Again, any questions with this, throw them in the comments. I hope this is easy to follow. My next layer, okay. So again, the concept of your eye goes to the brightest thing. I realized that up on the bottle, we had that hard specular hit, which looks natural in the image because of the lighting on here. But I realized that's going to pull focus, and it's going to make it complicated to put copy or text over that. So I got to dim that down, and I ran through and it got it right away. I only needed one run on it, and it removed that hard specular hit. And I think it still looks good. And I want this stuff to be subtle too. I don't want it over the top. I don't want it over the top that there's a tequila bottle in the back. And then our last layer is I used a little soft brush, or a big soft brush, with a yellow color, and color dodged that on top to give a nice glowy effect, so that this corner of the napkin blends into the rest of it. And I think that gives me a really good base image to take and finalize this as a social media post. But there's the Photoshop work. And it probably taken me longer to explain this than it did to do it. You're kind of like, AI just makes things so fast, and it's amazing. But anyway, okay, that's what I did in Photoshop. All right, and for our final step, I bring this into Adobe Express, which, if you're familiar with the Adobe products, is basically Adobe's answer to Canva. It's their online quick layout for social media and things like that, and quick design tools. I could have brought this into Illustrator, but when it's going out to social media, I kind of lean towards using Express, because it just gives me ideas just quicker, and I can also see the history of all the work and brand language that I've developed for this brand in there, so I can kind of stay on track a little bit. When I go into Illustrator, sometimes you're on your own, and there's a lot of tools that just help me keep branding coherent and in Express. So this is the image that we've created, and I imported it in, or uploaded it to Adobe Express, and let's make sure I'm clicking. And then my next, okay, so I guess I went back and forth. When I was in Express, I realized I needed that tequila bottle, so we go back to the Photoshop, and this is the tequila. But what you will see is that I also zoomed in a little bit, make it a little bit more impactful, and it also gives me a little bit room to play around with. So we have our tequila bottle, and then here comes my first bit of copy here, and I wanted something fun. I live on Cape Cod. Everything's about the summer. we have a 10-week window to make all our money, basically. So this is the copy I wanted to use. I wanted it fun, summery, light, but I also wanted a color palette that spoke to coffee. It's a coffee drink. It's a coffee cocktail. So I went with these browns and caramel type thing, which also work very well with the look of the image. You know, it matches very nice, but you'll see, like, I darkened that background to push it back, and we can still get a pop off it, even though we're working in, you know, a very limited color space for this whole image. I do break that for one thing, but I knew it would play together well. My next, so brewing soon, you know, more brand text there. You know, you're also working on, you know, thinking about this is going to be viewed on a cell phone. So things kind of have to be in that scale. This isn't a billboard. This is a small phone thing. And so things have to be legible. That's really key. You can't do like a tiny little text or font. It's got to be bold and out there, unless you're using contrast, but that's a whole different thing. As you can see, I stayed in the color palette, just kind of inverted it for down there. Works well. Also, you know, we have these lines coming with the linen this way. I'm crossing it this way, you know, instead of putting it on the left side, you know, this way, having cross line. If you have too many things parallel, it makes the image feel tilted, not weighted correctly. When you start to cross the lines, it brings balance. And I felt, since we had such strong diagonal lines from the cloth, that I would want to counter that with my my banner at the bottom. And then I put in our logo, the logo for the client. Now, I knew that teal would complement this brown, yellow, warm color palette of this. So it's so on the other side, but it was a complement, and it's also contrast. And by having complement or that contrast with a color that isn't anywhere else on the screen, in fact, it's on the opposite side of the color wheel, I knew I could get away with a smaller logo in the corner, because it was going to pop because of color and contrast. But anyway, that was my little tidbit. I knew that teal was going to come in later. And I do have versions of the logo with just white and just black for things like that. And I could have went just white and kind of given it a watermark feel, but that I would have had to been taking up more pixels to make it read, I believe. So using the color to pull the eye down there, I think works even better. And this is the final image, and I think it was very successful. I like it a lot. And, you know, you can direct these AI generators to give you what you want. And again, it's probably taking me a lot longer to explain it than it is to do it. It's you just kind of have to not give up on your concept, because there are ways to get. Hey, thank you so much for showing up this week. You know, I just wanted to share like how I'm making money using AI. I use it for professional clients. It's like having an assistant. For many years, I've been on the fence about hiring a design assistant. And I was very excited about it. And now AI is getting to a place where AI is my assistant. I don't need to hire somebody. I don't need to, you know, because not that I don't want to hire someone. It's just when you are walking the threshold of needing a bigger workforce and taking the risk to be able to maintain, because people are going to set their life aside. Like, they're going to rely on that income, and that puts a lot of pressure on me. Now maybe I can break through that threshold and hire somebody further down the road when I'm more established and bigger and doing bigger jobs and the larger client base. But anyway, AI is just fantastic to help us bridge that gap. All right. Well, I hope you guys got a lot out of that. I kind of went on for a bit. I'm going to do more. So as I say, out here on Cape Cod, we our season is like 10 weeks. And this is when I'm doing a lot of work for my clients. This is when the advertising, this isn't the back end work. This is the fun, like in your face advertising, printing, all this stuff. So I'm planning on working through a lot of these projects with you guys. If you're interested, this is the time of year that it happens for me. And I don't know, I think it's good content when you see, how you apply these tools. All right. I'm going to stop going on about this. I got coffee to drink. You got things to do. And all right.